Kevin Herget is the first Kean University athlete to make the major leagues, and earlier this month the school honored him by retiring his number 16. Kevin joins me now to talk about this great achievement. Kevin, congrats and thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, so let's go back to the beginning. How did you first get involved with baseball as a young kid?
I'm not really sure if I could say I know when I got into baseball, but sports in general have always been a big thing in my family and my life. So, I mean, growing up, we played a lot of different sports. We did a lot of different activities. We're outside, hockey, football, baseball. Even when I was growing up, like in my teenage years, with my friends outside playing sports. So, baseball really took over probably high school into college, but before that was just active and playing sports. I mean, I played baseball, of course, but didn't really hit that next gear until probably high school or college. But yeah, I was just in an active family, and I mean, sports were just a big thing.
And it worked out for the better that you chose baseball. Now, you're a Jersey boy born in Teaneck, and you chose Kean University. Tell me the reasoning behind staying close to home.
Well, like I said, sports were always a big thing. So I wanted to go somewhere where I could continue to play. And I heard great things about all the NJAC schools, honestly, in the area. So that was kind of my focal point, was somewhere D3 in that area where I get a good education, as well as have a chance to play for 4 years, like 4 more years in my mind at that point. And then, Kean came about with a teammate of mine, Nick Romagli. I played Legion ball with him. He was going to Kean. The coach saw me, did the whole, visit, saw the facilities, kind of fell in love with the facilities. It's a, D1 campus in a D3 school. It's really, everything's really nice. And obviously they were good. They were winning. I wanted to go somewhere I thought I could play. And that kind of had just everything for me. So obviously schooling too, we had a good, like math and science program that I was in, but from a sports perspective, you kind of like, you walk around that campus, you kind of fall in love with it, especially the sports facilities. So that was a big pull at the time as well. But yeah, somewhere I could stay close, play sports, get an education. Then I mean, in my mind, then just move on after that. But it obviously went a little bit further.
And it does feel like a D1 school. Now, you get drafted by the Cardinals back in 2013, and after grinding it out in the minor leagues for the better part of a decade, you finally get called up to the big leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays in 2022 at the age of 31. Now, how special was it finally making it to the show and knowing that all the hard work eventually paid off?
Yeah, words can't really describe it. I've always been working under the philosophy of, like, I wanted to play baseball. I like baseball. I like the process of baseball. I wanted to play for as long as I could. And obviously, you get to a point where you want to get to that next level, just like anybody else. And at that point, for me, it was the big league. So the feeling once, especially after 10 years of, like, I guess grinding it out and working and doing all this stuff, it's not really, you can't really put words to it. It's just an amazing feeling, an amazing accomplishment. And at the time I was like in shock, I guess that you'd say. You don't really understand it. You don't really realize it until, you're watching, Sports Center the next day or that night, and you're like, whoa, I was just there on that mound. But it's an amazing feeling. And obviously it was a long time to get there, but I fell in love with the process of trying to get better. I fell in love with baseball. So as much of a grind it might seem like, it was not the worst job to have, to play baseball for 10 years before that too.
And a couple years after breaking into the big leagues, you find out your number is getting retired. How do you find that out, and what's your reaction?
Yeah, I try to go back once a year to Kean to visit, see some of the guys, see Neil, see the staff there that I was with. And Kelly brought me into the office, and he was like, hey, like, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I want to do. We want to retire your number. And it's amazing because, I mean, that was where my peak interest in baseball like started really brewing, that I could get to that next level. I learned a lot. I met a lot of friendships there, my wife there, friends there, all that kind of stuff. And obviously to be there, like, on that wall for, forever in a sense, and to be retired there is super special. And it's an honor, really. Like, I mean, I love that place. I learned a lot at that place, and it's really cool to be retired there.
It's fantastic. Now let's talk about the number itself, 16. A lot of fans in the area recognize 16 as a great pitcher's number. Whitey Ford, Dwight Gooden. How did you wind up with that number?
Honestly, I think my dad was number 16 growing up. I remember it's like, I think, finding one of his jerseys or something like that at one point, and I had it in the travel ball, and it just kind of stuck with me. If there was, you don't really have a choice at times. Like if you're a freshman in high school, it's like whatever's number is available. I think I was 2 my freshman year, and then as soon as 16 came about, I was like, I'm going to snag that. And then college, I just lucked out that a senior graduated the year before at 16, so I could snag it there. And I just try to keep it for as long as I can, even in like the minor leagues. You don't really have a choice at times, but I try to get that as many times as I can. But it's just a number that kind of stuck with me throughout my career. So it was kind of just a coincidence in a way, but also a connection to family as well.
Now, take us through the ceremony, and who were some of the people in attendance you were happy to see?
Yeah, a lot of teammates, a bunch of teammates came who, I was friends with for a long time, still I'm really close friends with. And yeah, a lot of old teammates. Obviously, my parents, my brother, and family came. My aunt and uncle. So that was really cool as well. But it's also really cool seeing old teammates and like where they are at that point in life too. Like one of them has 3 kids, the other 2 have a kid and just had a kid, and kids on the way. It's just like a cool thing to go. 12 years ago I was in college. We were kids, and now we are at a point where we are deeper in life, and it's kind of cool to see that next stage of things and see them, especially because I don't live in Jersey anymore. I live in South Carolina, so I don't get to see them as often as I'd like, and especially because I'm away all the time playing. So it's really nice to see those like old teammates that were really a big part in me going to that next level as well.
And Kevin, last question. It took you 9 years to make it to the big leagues after getting drafted. What advice do you have for people chasing a dream that may not be happening as quickly as they'd like?
I think be consistent is one of the biggest things, especially in your work ethic and how you go about it. If it's something you truly want, you might not get there, right that next year or in 5 years or in 10 years. But if your goal is to get there and you enjoy the process of getting there, just be consistent in getting there. Keep your head down, work, and you'd be surprised. If you keep your head down and work, you'll look up and 10 years, you're going to be right where you want it to be. So I think that's one of the biggest things is, work to be better every day, keep your head down, just work hard. And then, at some point you'll look up and you'll be somewhere where you want. So
great advice. Kevin, congratulations again, and keep doing your thing in the big leagues. Thanks for stopping by, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Head over to ONNJ.com for the latest news and sports anytime.